I'm back and better than ever in Minecraft Hardcore Bedrock. After brutally losing my world in the last video, I am very motivated to beat the Ender Dragon this time. Now, just like in the last video, I am using a controller on my computer, so keep that in mind. But anyway, as you can see, I'm having a great time. I start by making some tools, and I continue to chop down some trees for wood. I try to get some food, and I explore the world around me. Leading up to this world, I had many failed attempts. There was this one where I randomly got blown up by a creeper, another one where I got hit into this pen of piglins. I deserve that, bro. And I got stabbed to death. So the idea for this world was to take it slow and enjoy every second, which is easier said than done, given that this is Bedrock. I've done enough dilly-dallying up until this point, so I think it's time to find a cave, but this is not one. But I do end up finding one not that much longer later, thanks to a little bit of fall damage. I grab a couple cheeky pieces of cobblestone and a few pieces of coal. And by a few, I mean a lot. There was a lot here. And look, I found some iron. You'll come to see that one of the hardest things I've had to do in this playthrough is getting and keeping ore. But I used this ultra awesome gaming technique in order to evade the zombie. And this cute little guy can wait. I have to smelt some iron. Just kidding, this can die and I do not care. Anyway, it's time for me to explore deeper into the cave. But I'm going to spare you the boring details. I pretty much end up finding a bunch of iron and smelting it in these little cubbies that I make as I go. And in doing this method, I am able to make a full set of iron armor. Look at these diamonds! I'm doing everything in record time. Well, 2 cute little diamonds later, I find a freaking spider dungeon. Loot was pretty mid, but still cool nonetheless. I spawn-proof the room and then I head out. It's actually crazy how amazing this world is going for me. I'm so glad that nothing terrible has happened yet. I quickly left the world and told myself this game plan. I gotta crouch. And boom, shield activated, crisis averted. I chomp down this golden apple because I really don't have any other food, and I go to check if any zombies are left. Holy shit. Oh. I was so ready to get away from those zombies, and I luckily found some more diamonds, and I even found some more over here. I then make one last cubby in order to get all of my stuff in check. This is when I craft my first diamond pickaxe. Yippee! I decide that I want to explore the cave some more, and I have no idea what I'm going to find. So using my genius intellect, I put all of my valuables into a chest so that I have more room in my inventory. Spoiler alert, I never come back to this chest. I also make this really cute setup, but a creeper has other plans. What the? My whole house just blew up. I'm having a great time exploring this cave, but I quickly get intrigued by the deep dark. Good thing I don't accidentally summon the warden. I'm just pretending I don't summon the warden. But I do make it shriek a second time and I get a little nervous. So I dig out of the cave, and look, now I'm on the land. I feel like I easily could have lost my world in that cave, and I'm very glad that I didn't, because everything that I end up doing in this world was so much fun. But anyway, the object for right now is to find a place where I can build a nice and beautiful home. I'm pretty picky when it comes to locations where I build my base, and given that I'm in a very mountainous area, as opposed to a flat area, I am not satisfied. I don't really know what I was doing here, but I end up getting snuck up on by some zombies, and oh my gosh, was this a close call. I get down to only half a heart. Lucky for me, a witch recently dropped a potion of instant healing, and I am saved. Woo! I stumble across a pit of lava, and I use this opportunity to grab some obsidian, just in case I can't find any more later. I explored my world for a very long time, trying to find the perfect spot to build a house. Now, I would say it wasn't long before I found a spot to build a house, but it really was long. I set up a little bit of a camp, and I began to make preparations to build my house. I started by chopping down a bunch of trees. This way I would have enough wood to build my house. Then, obviously, I was ready to start construction. For a first house, I feel like this is pretty big, and this house will go on to last me the rest of the run. I go on to spend the next 2 hours building this thing, and honestly, it looks absolutely fantastic. This is not the final design of the house, but I never got a better shot of it. Anyways, it's time to make a farm. I flatten out the area a bit, and I get to plowing. Super fun stuff. I also tried to put some fences up around my base, but I did not have enough. This will have to be done later. I made an enchanting table using some of the diamonds I had from earlier, and I enchanted my gear. With my new swanky armor and gear, I decided to start a mine. Just like in the last video, I settled on the much safer alternative of strip mining for diamonds. I spent several hours of this playthrough strip mining for diamonds. Diamonds were a rarity of rarities of rarities in this playthrough. And even though that's the case, sometimes it felt like I was literally throwing diamonds into lava. But since I'm good at the game, that would never happen. It's now time for me to collect some cows. This is because I really need to get a food source. Not only that, but it will help me make a full enchantment table later. I also wanted to spice up my house a little bit, so I added some paintings. I think everything is coming together very well in this world, and I really love how it's turning out. For the next little while, I really make sure that everything at my base is looking beautiful. I personally think everything looks really good, but you guys can be the judge of that. Speaking of beautiful things, I begin construction on my storage area. Now this won't get done for a very long time, so all I have placed down so far are support beams. I find that I'm in a desperate need for supplies, such as coal and iron, so I run around my world and try to find somewhere to mine. This is also the first time I've really left my base since I've got here. And I find that right around the corner is this giant cave. It really was nothing special down here, I just got a little bit of supplies and then I headed out. However, what did end up being very exciting was stumbling upon a second cave where I found an abandoned mine shaft. I didn't end up spending much time in here, and honestly I kind of regret that, because I didn't find any loot or treasure or anything fun. I suppose the only exciting thing that I found was this name tag, and then I got harassed by a zombie. And after I left all the caves, I ended up stumbling upon a village that was really close to my house. Yes, a village. However, this is one of the strangest villages I've ever seen, and you'll come to understand that later. At the moment, I don't really need a village, so I decide to head back to my house. And it's back to strip mining, but not for long. I decide that I'm going to finish my storage area, and to do this, I need to get a lot of wood. And I think you know by now, all of my builds are completely original, and you can kind of tell because this ends up looking not very good, but who cares? It's just meant to hold my stuff. Speaking of holding my stuff, I try to organize all the chests inside, and I think it all looks decent. I don't really care either way. And with all the remaining wood, I put up fences around my base and spawn-proofed it. Finally! I guess I really enjoyed building the storage area because I got right to building my next thing. This was going to be an enchanting table room. And following the theme of the last build, this also looked terrible. I don't really care at all. I decided that I'm never going to play in this world again after this video, but you know, I still have standards. But now it is time for the scariest part of the run, and that is the Nether. But it turns out there was nothing to be afraid of, because look at my spawn. Are we for real? This kind of thing has never happened to me before, so I guess eventually I'm just going to have to dig through the Nether. But that sounds like a problem for later. Right now, I just get better leggings, but right now the Nether is calling to me like the Green Goblin. So even though I originally planned to explore the Nether later, I am going right now. It was certainly a struggle, but I did end up finding my way out, and I was greeted by two friendly ghasts. Nether exploration was just about as fun as you would expect. It wasn't. But pretty quickly I was able to find a Nether fortress, but it was not easy to get to. Anyway, I do make it into the fortress, and this is when I start shooting bricks. Given that I lost my world previously in another fortress, you can imagine how I felt. But honestly, it was not bad at all. I had a pretty positive experience in this Nether fortress. Getting all the blaze rods I needed was really easy because I just made this little chamber underneath the spawner, and it worked really well. And that was it for the Nether for now. I dug my way all the way back to the Nether portal. Not that you could tell because I stopped recording. The reason was I needed to see my coordinates and I stopped recording so I can look at the old footage and I just didn't record again and it all got messed up. But you're just gonna have to trust me, I dug tunnels. Look at how beautiful my base looks. I wanted to get a mending book because all of my armor was starting to break and I was having a hard time keeping a diamond pickaxe. So I go back on my way to find the village, and I managed to get a dog. I also never named him. Over at the village, I managed to capture the lucky guy who was going to be my mending villager. But I don't know if you guys remember what I said earlier about this village, but this place is whack. I don't know if I could properly explain it without you just being there watching me play, but something just felt off about this village, and I think it has something to do with the mob spawning. Like, first of all, the phantoms weren't burning up because it was raining, and this threw me off. I can get into that in a second. As of right now, I get as many emeralds as I can. And I feel like I should also mention that a village spawned on top of a mountain is just weird in general. I feel like that's weird. The weirdness continues as I get attacked and harassed by phantoms. And the strangest part of it all was more of them spawned. I don't know. You all might think that's not weird, but I did, because this is new to me and it just was odd. Genuinely, phantoms might be my least favorite mob in the entire game. As soon as I could, I left that village. I did not feel like getting a mending book. To me, it just didn't seem worth it. I knew I wasn't going to play in this world again, and it was not worth the grind, it was not worth the effort, it was not worth the stress, and it was not worth staying in that village. I knew that mentally I was ready to defeat the Ender Dragon. However, all I needed was Ender Pearls. I figured using my giant brain that the best way to get Ender Pearls was to go to the Nether and find the biome that all of them spawn in. This ended up being a lot harder than I thought. As you can see, I spot one right here, and I think it's an entire biome. But turns out, it is not. It is just this little patch. They played me for a fool. And the Minecraft gods decided to fart all over my face. Because what the hell, why did they just give me a bastion too? On one hand, I did not want to lose my world, and I did not want to die in a bastion. But on the other hand, I really wanted treasure. To be frank, I did not play this as safe as I definitely should have. But honestly, who gives a freak? All I wanted is to get a little bit of loot, but I didn't have the balls because I did not want to lose my world. So I hopped, skipped, and ran away. And although I didn't find the biome I was looking for, I still managed to get some ender pearls. Using all of the gold I just found in the bastion, I try to trade with the piglin, but eventually, for whatever reason, all of the gold despawns, so I don't get anything. My dumbass thought that lava cancelled fall damage, and imagine how stupid I would have looked if I didn't have feather falling right here. Yo, I accidentally fat finger a button and throw my diamond pickaxe into the lava. Oh, there goes my pickaxe. Not only did I just lose a very valuable pickaxe, but this also set me back, because my plan was to dig through the nether and get back to my portal. But now that I don't have a pickaxe, I cannot do that. So instead, I have to craft a terrible stone pickaxe in order to mine hundreds and hundreds of blocks. Lovely. Yippee! When I got back to my base, I was so unbelievably impatient that I wanted to go find the stronghold as soon as possible. The Eye of Ender led me this way, and I was on my journey. And on my way, I found this giant cave that I thought the stronghold must be in. But instead of finding a stronghold, I found this.
Is that an ancient city?
Indeed it was. This is the first time I've ever seen an ancient city in a survival world, let alone a hardcore world. As much as I wanted to explore it, I said no.
Yo, I want to go so bad.
I am just about to beat the Ender Dragon. I do not want to mess it up now. But I did see some diamonds, and I cannot resist them. Oh, I'm just blissfully getting my diamonds when my dog just died. I think my dog just died. I guess a creeper snuck up behind me when I wasn't looking and blew up the bridge and killed my dog. My dog's alive. I don't know how bro survived that, but I am so glad he did. Anyway, after leaving the cave, my ender pearl broke and I was on my own trying to find the stronghold. I don't really know how I expected to find the stronghold, since I was pretty much just running around aimlessly. I did come across this village, and I remember back a long time ago, I heard that sometimes strongholds spawn underneath the Bellin villages, so I decided to give it a try, and to no one's surprise, it was not there. Great, now I'm thousands of blocks away from my house and I have no leads on a stronghold. I guess my plan here was to just keep exploring and see if anything fun happened. And luckily enough for me, it did. Thank God. No way. Dude, I've never been to one of these before. This literally was the best case scenario of what could happen. Because not only did I find this awesome and rare biome, but also this ruined nether portal was a perfect one in order to get me back into the nether, so I can get to my house easier. The chest even contained a fire charge which I used to ignite the portal. I was making fun of this game earlier for being rude to me, but like honestly, this helped me out so much. And to top it all off, my portal wasn't even that far. But my luck soon ran out when I realized I had to cross this giant gap. But not to worry, because I brought a potion of slow falling, just in case I ended up fighting the Ender Dragon, and I bridged all the way across. Looking back on it now, this might have been one of the craziest things I've ever done in a Minecraft hardcore world. Anyways, I dug my way back to my portal, and now I'm home sweet home. I didn't really show it, but through trading with the piglin, I got all of these crying happy whatever ghasts, and now they are marinating in my pond. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what they look like when they get big. Anyways, I have bigger and better things to worry about. I need to get some ender pearls, which is much easier said than done, given that I only find around one enderman a night. I also wanted to get more diamonds, but I did not want to strip mine again. That is so boring. So I ran around and tried to find another cave, and I stumbled upon this awesome mine shaft, which was also pretty boring. I didn't even end up finding a high amount of diamond, it was more iron that I found, so I headed back to my house, and when I got back, I was greeted with this lovely surprise. Look at how cute they all are. I can't wait till they get big. My goal for now is to just get as many ender pearls as I can, and I realized that one of the ghasts grew up already. It's literally been one in-game day, but look at him all fitted up. Whoa! Anyway, I spend the rest of the night trying to find and kill as many endermen as I can, and this yields me 5 ender pearls, which gives me the confidence to try to find a stronghold. I go back through the nether in order to get to the mushroom island, because I figure that's closer to where the stronghold is. And you will never guess where the ender pearls led me. Are you serious, bruh? Somehow I accurately guessed where the stronghold was, without having any eyes of ender. I just happened to dig in the wrong spot. If I dug 5 blocks over, I would have found it. This stronghold kind of spooked me out too because it was partially covered in the deep dark. But anyway, boom, portal room. I was smart enough to bring some obsidian so I can make a nether portal right outside of the portal room. But you wouldn't think I was very smart if you watch this clip. That is now 2 things I lost to lava in this video. And I also forgot to bring some flint and steel. So at the end of the day, was I really smart? I mean, I did try to do this method, but it just did not work. So I tried to find some iron in a nearby cave, and luckily I was able to do so. And now I was able to craft my flint and steel, and go home. I guess unfortunately the portal connected to the other one that I had from the Mushroom Island, but you know, it's no biggie. It's time to hunt for more Endermen, and I could not get more unlucky with spawns. For this entire night, this was the only Enderman that I encountered. This led me to spend the next hour simply hunting for ender pearls. And in between that, I was finishing up my gear and making some final preparations for the ender dragon fight. And now that I was finally ready to fight the dragon, I headed back over to the portal. And honestly, I was unbelievably nervous, given that I've never even played the Bedrock ender dragon before. I had no idea how hard this was going to be. And just as I'm preparing myself to enter the portal... Okay, why was there a creeper right there? Imagine my world ended right there. Luckily, the crisis was averted. But anyway, I light up the portal. There's not really a point in waiting, I'm fully prepared, so I just jump in. And it is finally setting in that it is now or never. Bridging across right here was low-key scary as shit, and I almost freaked out. But I didn't because I'm a real gamer. But once I made it onto the island, it was my immediate goal to destroy all the crystals, but the ender dragon had other ideas. Don't blow me up. It's exactly what I did not want to happen. Yo! Yo! Oh! It soon became clear that this was going to take a little bit of luck. Ow, ow. Oh no, come on, stop! Aiming on controller was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. But fortunately for me, I hit most of my shots first try. What? What? Ow. Literally, no matter what I did, I was either hit off my pillar by some poison or by the dragon himself, and it was really annoying. Oh my god, bruh. Yo, Alright. Yo, get the fuck away. But I eventually managed to get all the crystals down, but it was finally time to get my revenge. Just look at that damage! The dragon only had to perch 2 more times before I quickly and awesomely and coolly and spectacularly and epically and wonderfully took him out. Easy. Not even close. Leo, let me hit this emote. Let me hit this emote, twin. Hey! The journey has been absolutely unreal, and this moment feels great. It's been a real pleasure, and it's time for my journey to come to an end yet again. Part 2 when?